Okay, so I've set up my AutoCAD file with the or satellite image scale correctly. Now I want to set up a Revit file, and so I've opened Revit and I'm going to use the architectural template shortcut under projects over on the left. So architectural template is usually a good starting point. And then I'm going to begin by duplicating my ground floor plan just by right-clicking on top of it and going to Duplicate View, and then Duplicate. Then right-clicking again on my new ground floor, copy one. I'll go to Rename, and we'll call this ground floor image. Sorry? Sorry.
Does that mean I can't work with it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was saying the Revit part you might need to do during the week once you get your own computers, unfortunately, just because you can't say, no, you won't be, no. But just, but you get the idea with the scaling that you're doing the same thing as in AutoCAD. So I've got my ground floor duplicated, and I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and this time click Image. And now I'm going to go to find the file on the P drive in the same folder as before, so CAD 4 or CAD 3, Mary Street, and then we've got the ground floor plan for Mary Street. And I'm simply going to click to place that roughly in the middle. But you can probably tell even visually at the moment that that is way too big if you have an idea of the normal setup with Revit. And we can confirm that by measuring one of these dimensions. There are no scale bars, but we have plenty of dimensions that can be measured. So just like AutoCAD, you have the measure tool, and I'm going to simply click between 2 points on the dimension line and see what that measurement is. So you can see there it's 10,589, and it should be 3,820. Right, so just like AutoCAD, you have the scale tool, and it's one actually that people often don't use as much in Revit because it doesn't work with everything in Revit, but it definitely will work here with this image. So I'm going to select the image, and you can see then on the Modify panel we have the scale tool. So I'm going to click Scale, and you can work out the scale factor like we did in AutoCAD and type it in using the numerical option here in Revit, but we don't have to because you can use a simpler method, which is simply to click a base point on the side of that dimension, go across to the other side of the dimension. I'm using the centers of the line. Okay, so I've picked up the two sides of my dimension, and you can see it's about 10,600. I'm just going to bring that away slightly and type in my new measurement, 3820. Enter. We can see it's scaled down, and I'll go and confirm that by measuring my dimension again. And we can see that's close enough to 3820. Yeah. But basically it's the same process as in Revit, it's just that the tool works a little bit differently. So it's the same process as in AutoCAD, but again, the tool works a bit differently in Revit. It is definitely, yeah. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to do something extra here. I'm going to now bring in that AutoCAD file. So I'm going to double click on my site view to open it just to make sure it's empty. Going to right click and duplicate view and duplicate. And then I'll right click on that view name and again go to rename, and we'll call that site satellite image. And really, to make it clear, it might be better to have satellite DWG for the name. Just to remind us it's an AutoCAD file, not an image file. And then under the Insert tab, I'm going to go to Link CAD, which is one you may not have used before. So with link CAD, as the name suggests, you can have a linked file from an AutoCAD file. So here's my AutoCAD file that I've just saved. And you don't need to scale this because it's already the right size in AutoCAD. So I'm just going to change the positioning option there to manual center. And then click open. And you can see there it's got a message about it containing raster images, and that is exactly what I want. So, that didn't come in for some reason, so let's just do it again. It didn't, so I'll just do that again. Oh, sorry, current view only, sorry. I normally have this option on by default. So over here, sorry, current view only. I should have remembered, that should be on for this to work. So there we are. Okay, so I'm just going to centre that roughly, and then any issues you've got I can hopefully fix anyway, but I just wanted you to see there that the building, if we look at it visually comparing where the elevations are, we can get a good idea of the size. And so here you can see the elevation. So visually you can probably tell it's about the right size, or they're definitely close to being the same size, the building here and the floor plate, but they're obviously at different angles. So how do you manage that? And that's really one of the things at the heart of this subject, thinking about how you're going to organise your work across these different platforms.
Should they all look the same?
Exactly, they should. So you need to think about the way that you're going to deal with this different angle, and it's due to this building being oriented in a certain way. We have north being vertical on the satellite image here, but then the floor plan has been oriented differently to work maybe in landscape on a presentation board, and that makes perfect sense. So one of the first things you need to decide when you're setting up a project is which way is project north going to be. It doesn't have to be true north. Really only engineers and people like that use true north all the time. Often you'll establish your own north direction and then show that true north is off in a different direction, which would be, this way or something on this floor plan. So I could rotate the image in Revit, but maybe it would make more sense to rotate it back in AutoCAD, and I can do that because I've linked the file. So that's the final thing I wanted to show you, that now I can do a few extra things as well in AutoCAD, such as drawing a line, which I'll do right now. I'm going to draw this line as the basis for my floor plate. And actually that is not a good edge now I think about it, because we can see, this is where you've got to watch out with satellite plans, this roof is at a pretty decent angle from the ground, because it is a perspective that we're looking at. And so we need to account for that. So we can either use the bottom or the top. In this case, because I can see that rectangle clearly, I might use the top, but then just remember when I'm tracing the site that the ground is offset slightly. So I'll go back and draw that line, tracing from the corner, and then over to here. And it's difficult to see, so I might quickly make a new layer. And that can be called something sensible like a building, maybe outline. I can spell. There we are. And I'm going to make that have a nice bright colour. Maybe even a bit lighter than that actually, because I want to see it over the image. Anything like that. Okay, and then I'm going to put that line that I've drawn onto that layer. Still a bit hard to see, so I will go and thicken up my line weight on my layer. Really heavy. And turn my line weights on. So that's a bit easier to see. Still maybe not the best colour, so maybe I'll go and see if I can get a colour that'll stand out a bit more. So maybe one of those pinkish colours. Yeah. So, okay, so I'm just going to show you a couple of little tricks I've developed over time. When you get a line drawn at an angle like that, instead of trying to draw another line up here, it's usually better to copy that line or try and use offset, but here copy might work better. So I'm going to use copy. I've selected the line already. I'm going to pick it up with a base point and then bring that up to the other side. So now I know those lines are parallel. And then I'm going to use another trick. I'm going to rotate the line. So I've selected the line and then I'm going to click on rotate. And I'm going to use the corner as my base point. And then I'm going to go down to the command line and click on the copy option. And now I'm going to type in 90 as my angle. So I know then that I have a line that's perpendicular to my previous line. Otherwise at a right angle. And so then I can again copy my new line across to the other side. And then fillet those together. 0.5? But it's, yep. But it's mainly having that line weight option on as well on the status bar. You've got to make sure that button's on. Yep. Show hide line weight. Okay, so you can see there I've got a rectangle instead of just a polygon. Okay, so which way, well, I'll ask you actually, sorry, after I rotate this. So I'm going to rotate this now so that it's oriented the way our plan is in Revit. So let's look at that image in Revit. And so this side here is the Mary Street entrance, and I think that side is Reservoir Street. Correct me, I could be wrong. And so looking at this, I think that's Mary Street and that's Reservoir Street. So we want this edge here to be at 0 degrees, to be horizontal running along our page, bottom of our page. So I'm going to make a window around everything, go to rotate. I'm going to use this corner here as my base point. And now I'm going to use this other option on the command line, reference. So you see that's an extremely useful option with rotate. If I choose reference, I need to give a new base point, and then I can measure my reference angle along that line, so in other words clicking on the other end of that line. And then if ortho's turned on, I can snap to 0 degrees, and now that line is exactly horizontal. Okay, and then I might even just select everything and move it across a little bit so it's a bit closer to the origin. I'll turn ortho off to do that. I might need to press escape first. I can't see it. So, okay, so I'm just going to save this file and then do a couple of little things in Revit to finish up. So, firstly, I want to update my link. So, I'm going to go to the Manage tab, Manage Links, CAD Formats, and there's my linked file. I'm just going to click Reload, OK, and you can see then it's got the change. Now, back in the ground floor plan with the image, I can draw a couple of quick reference planes. I'll just drag them out to the dimensions, and maybe I'll just copy that instead of drawing a new one. Because I know the measurement, it's right there, 48400. Okay, and I'll just do one more. There's a little bit of massaging we can do. Back in AutoCAD, now that I know these measurements, I would probably go back and make those accurate, but I'll leave it at this for now. So I'm going to just put in my other reference plane, making it 2840. Sorry, 400. There we are. So you can see that even though I scaled in Revit before using that nice quick tool, it wasn't as accurate maybe as when you do it with AutoCAD. So all I need to do is rescale that, and I'll do that afterwards. But the important thing is that I can go to my file or my view with the satellite image, and then move my my image or my AutoCAD file just using the move tool. Yeah. Now it can be a bit difficult to see the lines, so you can go into the layers, and then under imported categories, so I just say layers, you can go into the visibility settings in your view, click the edit button, or VV is the shortcut, then go to imported categories, and here I know the image is on the 0 layer, and that way I can just see the lines, so I can select it, click the move button, and oops, sorry, let's just do that one last time, move. Okay, so now I know that they're aligned. You can see again how far things can be off. So this is traced off the satellite, which is out, so again maybe go back and scale that. If I want these dimensions that we have off the floor plan to be the basis of everything we do. Okay, so that's a standard process that you would use to set up the main measurements in your project, so they're working both in AutoCAD and Revit, and they're consistent across the two programs. So I'll give you some time to do that, and then we can look at some other things.